slide we stopped last class? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you remind me in what slide we we finished? Until what slide? 18. What is yours about? Yes? Please write it down. Okay. So this chapter is talking about something is very important about IT infrastructure. As we see that we told you that you have to participate in a chat bond. Let me check. Yes, a media Amazon cloud service is very good. Very good. Yes. Before I start for the new topics or new trends in the software, and what's the software as infrastructure? As we say, IT is a part of information system, and it is a one of information system or IS components. Now, what is the component of IT? I see the question to you. What's the component? Because IT got components, right? These are the components. Okay? These are the components. Sorry? IT infrastructure components. It is not just hardware and software. Yes, because also data management, networking, and services. Because where we see our data is in data management. How we manage them is a task of management or the database administration or data administration or administrators. Networking also is very important to join and to connect the computers, servers, branches, departments together. Services, as we say, that is very important. Why? Because without services, our IT in general will be unupgraded, and we would like to keep it maintain it and to upgrade our IT and surface our IT on all departments, devices, and all type of uh, uh, devices like UUM. UUM, we have UUM IT. What they do? They do a surface. Yes, they do a surface for all parts of UUM, all servers, all computers. Who do the surface? UUM do surface. UUM IT. Because from time, if anything or any device or any projector or any server or any computer or any single or data presenters, we call UUMIT. UUMIT come to fix very fast. Why? Because huge companies or institutions or organizations, they already established departments. In UUM, we have a center. To the surface. I still remember last class that I mentioned to you last time. I presented to you last time. I mentioned the importance of services. Services is very important because now a lot of businesses in services, in service industry use IT. Yes, they usually between the IT and an IS also. So let's go to the services done by Amazon. Yes, let me start from here. Anyway, never mind. I would like to refresh your memory. Okay, just give me a time. Okay. Okay. Again. We see God bless everyone because I already start recording class for you, and soon I will upload them and I share with you the URL. What is IT components? As we mentioned, that IT components in this figure explain that five important components: hardware, software, data management, network or networking, and services. These are the components of IT. What is IT infrastructure? The IT infrastructure we can see it as a platform for supporting all information systems in the business. That's why this component is very important. Okay? Now, what are the types of computers? We have many types. As individuals, we have a personal computers and mobile devices. This is a personal for the personal purpose. Individuals, they have their computers, notes. This is also big companies have workstations. They have servers. Workstations that previously companies they used to have that, and still some companies they have servers. Yes, everyone connect to the server. Now is the most dominant computer is the servers because the servers can do a lot of things. Imagine that we are in the lab. You go to the lab or computer internet. They have server there, and more than two computers, up to 40 something. It depends on the server. All of them connected to the server. So this one is joint tasks. So the client do a certain task, or the computer PC do a certain task, and send to the server. The server do a part of task, a part of task. So mainframes also, supercomputers, great computing. All these computers are huge computers that can perform a multitask and thousands of tasks. Yes, we do a huge calculation. This is a type of computer. Client or server computing, as we say that it is like that. This is a client server computing. How we connect to internet? Or the client is a one PC connect to the server. This one to one, full client server computing. Here is the user interface. Here is application function is here in the client connected to the server. The server contain data and application functions to do here and network resources that I would like to connect. We connect here for what? We connect because we would have to have data or any kind of purpose for us to log into the server. And say to log into internet. So client server computing is a form of distributed computing. Means in the client and server. What they do? Or this computing, what the process and how the process could be accomplished in this client server computing. This split processing between client and servers. Between client and server. In two-tier client server architect, as we mentioned here. This is a two-tier, sending and receiving. And at the same time, there is a multi-tier client server architect. This one in tier. Why? A number of computers connected and to the certain different levels. Here we have client to internet, and then we connect to the web server and application server to database or sales to the database. A lot of connectivity. So we go through internet to a certain type of data that we are requesting. In a multi-tiered client, you notice here web servers and application servers. Through these servers, we can connect to the database in other place, in other company, or in other branch. But we go through internet. Now, how we connect to internet? How we connect to internet through internet operators or mobile operators or internet operators or internet service providers, ISP. The same thing. Each client or each number, mobile number, or with TM, they connect to the server of that company. Otherwise, we cannot connect to internet. Why? Because everyone, each device connected to internet through that operator, they have IP address. Yes? You know what's your IP address? And from which, so it is easy to connect to internet through the company. Why? Because no single device connect to internet didn't know who is that. Each the device serial number, IP address of that device. Yes, for sure. You know the person who connected to internet and from where and what time. So no single device that connect to internet is still, unrecognized. Maybe they didn't recognize who login, but they know to whom that device belongs. And what device number is there? So, Internet of Things. Internet of Things means a lot of our appliances connected to internet. Why? Because IPv5 is not enough. We have IPv6. IPv means IP address. IP addresses, we need a huge address because everything connected to internet. Why and how? Through client server computing, also we can connect to a lot of things. We can connect a lot of things like our kitchen, refrigerator, air condition, TV, bed, a lot of devices, and even cars. Now you can notice that everything now is atomized. It's atomized and it's now different than before. You can look into the things now, even cars. So how we can connect? We have to have infrastructure like IP address or a network very fast. 5th generation. Now they are talking about the 6th generation, which is can enable this kind of activity. Why? Because the lateness is unexistent. Imagine that you are in the car that can be managed and drove by, uh, I mean, report and suddenly make crash. No, if 1 second or microsecond mistake can damage everything, can make an accident. So what we mean that client server computing, how we can connect things to internet, and what is internet now is a new trend of technology that we can connect of our home appliance that could be connected to internet and we can manage them online. But we have to go to the web server and application server as mentioned here in the figure 5.3 multi-tiered client server network. Now, in a hardware, we're still talking about hardware. In hardware, storage inputs and output technologies is very important and used usually. What are these? The storage like magnetic disks, SSDs. Now, I want to, when I put my laptop is just 1.5 years, wasn't SSD. Then I found It was 1 TB. I found it slowed down. So I went back. I said, "Okay, no, I would like to change hard disk to SSD." He changed to me to SSD. Now my computer is faster from that time, yes, till now faster than previously, almost 10 times. Why? New technologies and hardware, especially in storage, make it very fast for operation, for CPUs, central processing units, to manage and to process the orders and requests and queries done by computer. So from time to time, now when we come to the new generations or the industrial revolution 4.0, a lot of technologies comes even in storage. So optical discs, magnetic tape, storage network, or a SAN is how we can connect to a network to manage our data. So storage is become upgraded. A new technology, new innovations comes more than before. Now you can have 2 TB, 5 TB in your pocket, and you see for lot. You can see one library, millions of documents in your this one. Yes, input. We call input as a hardware like input devices, keyboard. Keyboard is the input. Things that we use to key in to the computer. How we can write? Like a keyboard. Also, scanner. Scanner is the input because we scan and we shift to the computer. Any device or input device that can help to manipulate things and to see or to digitalize that. Also, pen. You know pen? Student, it is input. So that devices help to input or to shift something from outside to computer. We call that input device. Now output devices, like what? Those output devices is a hardware like a monitor. A monitor because we can see in the screen in a monitor what it thinks. Like a printer also output device. This is a type of hardware as accessories. Yes, we need to have them. Mic. What is the mic? Yes, when I say blah 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 blah, this mic is input device. Heats it. It is output device. But they are same together in the one joining together. So we have to recognize that what is the input devices, what is the output device. This is a good example for this. Now, what is the new contemporary hardware trend? Contemporary means the new things, new emerging things in hardware. Yes, there is a lot of things, and we have to consider that. What is this? The mobile digital platform. A lot of mobile digital platforms. That mobile that you can take like a tablet, computers, tab. You have your tab and you go, or a netbook, your laptop. Netbook is your laptop. This is a kind of mobile digital platform. Other than that is bring your own device, or we call that consumerization of IT and bring your own device. The new trend is like that. Bring your own device. Now, when you go to the job, to find a job, not like before. They have some companies previously, they have to give you the device, they have to give you computer, they have to give you smartphone. But now, no more like that. They will ask you just bring your own device. You can install that program. Yes. You can install that program to run and to manage your, to follow your job or to follow your tasks as a part of the team in the job or in your organization. To bring your own device, BYOD, bring your own device, become commercialized. Why? Because ITs or small devices or ITs become commercialized or consumerization of that device. You have to buy it by yourself. So it's a market. Companies, they just give you application or software to install to your device. Nanotechnology and quantum computing. It's a new trend. Nano. Small. Teeny one. A tiny chips that can save a lot. Do you remember how it looked like your PC before? Do you remember? I don't know you remember or not. During my time, before 20 years, yes, when I used to be in your age, yes, when I start my degree is 2000. 20 years. Wow, running fast. I used to have for one PC. Wow, one PC at the time cost me 1,300 US dollar. Yes, yes, 1,300 US dollar. This one, 1,000 US, 1,300 US dollar, it is a huge money at that time for me as a student. But for sure, I put a PC that I can learn programming, I can learn and manage everything. Do you know how much the hard disk or GB is? 16 gigabyte. 16 gigabyte. So look, that GB is hard disk like that. Do you know how much now in a smartphone? In a smartphone, you have 265 gigabyte. Yes, mine is 128. Small chip. This is a nanotechnology. Things become smaller and efficient than before. Efficient in consumption, the energy and the process, logging and uh, retrieving and saving data is there faster than before, because before it takes them time to read or write on that devices. Virtualization, VSD. Yes, what is a virtualization? Virtualization means you do things virtually. No need to be in the same place. Yes, no need to be in the same place. Okay? As we mentioned that you still remember that we see virtual companies. Virtual companies, you establish your company in internet. No need to have it in a setting. No need to have a shop like in, in a real shop. You can sell and buy online. And you can register your company as online company. You manage it from your home. So you can do and finish your businesses just online. This is what you call virtual company. You see how to look like this in nanotechnology or nanotube. How it's high. You can more than even in sending and receiving or displaying the uh, the pictures or the videos. Now, cloud computing platform. What is this? Cloud computing platform. It's a new trend. New trends. Yes, cloud computing. What is the cloud computing? Now, we don't carry devices, we don't carry USBs, we don't carry hard disks. Just rarely. If we have something very important, we save it in a flash or drive or in a removable hard disk. But the cloud computing now it is a common. Most of us we have Dropbox, we have Google Drive. This is a cloud computing. For individuals, within companies, we have the same thing. Cloud, yes, cloud computing. Cloud computing could be served different types of tasks, which is can contain, we can contain as information or infrastructure services. Yes, we can use that cloud computing platforms as infrastructure services, or could receive and manage a few services for applications. What does it mean? Me, if I have a small business, but I cannot, or we cannot buy IT devices, servers, with high cost, and our company cannot carry that. We are starting up our business. What we can do in this case, we would like to subscribe, subscribe to the cloud computing platforms providers. So we see we would like to have a infrastructure for our uh, data at the database there to save our or to manage our because we don't have servers, we don't have any kind of technology that can or a software that we can't manage our activities and functions and tasks in our company. So we can use a computing resource management as an infrastructure. When we would like to look for infrastructure, in the beginning, don't buy that because you can find that infrastructure provider where in a cloud, like Amazon. Look, Amazon, they provide that also. Computing, they provide the service of computing, okay? Or database, save your database. So this is the most services or web services that's provided by Amazon. Why? It can give you computing services, networking services, content delivery to deliver things, data storage, database, deployment, management, even management, application services, analytics for your selling and buying if you connect with them. Because most of companies, small companies, they didn't have that capability to bring new trend or contemporary hardware or software to their setting. So they depend on that kind of a service providers to subscribe to them online. Why? Because internet now become faster, and also the service they can get is higher, efficient, and effective. Comparing to the subscription monthly or yearly is nothing. In the beginning, companies cannot carry the cost of IT infrastructure. So they have to subscribe with other services. What does it mean? My company can connect to my hardware or my data through internet because the place where is my data stay not in my company, in that service provider. Yes, there's some advantage and disadvantage. The most disadvantage is security because those security things is quite hard in cloud computing. You have to determine what application that you would like to make it much secure because you cannot put high security for all the components of company. Yes, like online banking. Online banking is a part of application that enable you to log in to the database. Yes, that application they make high security. So nobody enter to the database unless they are client with that bank. They have their own account, and also the customer accounts or client accounts is separate. Maybe you can separate them in a certain part of database. But also bankers, they have their own database. They don't depend on the cloud. They have to have the database. If they depend on the cloud, those small startup companies or medium enterprises, because they don't have capability to buy their IT infrastructure. Okay, bear with me. Now we see that the cloud computing, we have infrastructure as a service, IaaS, or SaaS, or PaaS. What are these? These are, we mentioned it there, the information service, application service, and platform service. What this type? In application service, we can give a software applications that we can use to as a software because we cannot buy that software is very expensive, so we can subscribe. You can give us or calculate based on hours or minutes. So, to what extent that you use that software? Yes, that companies they can see that we can log into that system from 8 morning until 5 or 5:30. They give time. Then they will close everything. Nobody allowed to enter to the system. So this is can increase that security also. and also fee or payment in use. How many hours do you have to pay based on that? Platform services like communication network, industry management, content services, and blog storage that where you can achieve your data. So these three types of or contemporary are good trends in the cloud computing. For sure, in the cloud computing now is widely used. Individual we use Dropbox, Google Drive, and also companies we use. Also, there is cloud computing, public and private cloud computing, just for public use or also for private use. Utility computing or on-demand computing. What does it mean? That, as we said, on demand. To what extent and how many hours that you like to use that cloud computing? For what time? So they can increase the security. Hybrid cloud, data storage security is in hands of provider. This is a disadvantage. This is a disadvantage. Hybrid cloud, that means you have a part of data here in your setting and also you still subscribe to other company. Uh, to that company service provider in other place. So through internet, we can connect to ourselves there. Those some companies, some companies their investment just provide the cloud or IT infrastructure or application infrastructure or platform infrastructure for companies. They do nothing. Yes. Uh, I give you a real example. Yesterday, I went here in Shanglud to the minister. I asked him, from where you bought this software? He's a minister in Tamandija here, small one. How much you bought this one? This system, the tagging when the system, the computer, and when he make a new weight and to print the code for that size of product and the type and the weight and the price and as a label for a new packaging. It took me $7. All the system. I told him because I would like to know what is happening in the market because I know these shops. I mean, companies they do the same thing for big companies. I wasn't expecting that they do it for the small company, small one. Then I asked him, what is the system that you are going to use? What you are using that? I mean, from who you bought? He mentioned to me this system cost me 2,000. He gave me only one CD to install, but later they log in online. Wow, log in online. It- So, what are the services? He told me they give us 3 days training. It's 3 days training free. So, what happens if there is a problem? They say the business come here. When you would like to do a service, the company will log in online. Just to the system. You don't come to him. You log in online and to fix what is the problem. How is that? Because of cloud computing. This is a new technology and a fast network as IT infrastructure is very important. So how things are now? You can imagine that your laptop is upgrading itself by itself. Yes, because this is a huge companies like IBM, like Dell, like HP, all that companies can do it. But small and local companies, the technology, computing technology and the nanotechnology and the new trend of technology is this. So how? By this way. We have to be aware of new trends of hardware and software. So this is uh, cloud computing. What is the new contemporary hardware trends? The new is the green IT, green information technology. What is that? If you remember that, I don't know. No, I think some of you know that my specialty is the green IT. I did my PhD. My PhD topic was with sustainability. Green IT is a one part of my study that I consider on green IT and also on innovation and government and articles or conditions that support or incentives that support green IT towards sustainability. What's the green IT? Green IT things or electronic devices or any IT that preserve the environment. Why? To minimize impact of the environment. When we see green IT, we are consider the environment from the early stage. From the early stage, we design the project until we dispose the project. So all this process from designing, producing, selling, collecting again, and recycling that product should be considered as a green IT and should be considered all this process to be preserved environment. Other than that is high performance and power saving processing. Yes. Now you can see that your laptop is a 3 core or 5, Core i5, Core i7, Core i9. Yes. Many people that like students, enough laptop for them is up to Core i5. What is the core? The processor now or CPU in a computer who manage everything. Motherboard and CPU is the most part of computers. Other cards like screen cards, sound cards, keyboard or uh, camera. This is just extra, but the most part of computer is hardware. The hardware is all of it. Different devices, motherboard and CPU. CPU or central processing unit. Now CPU is saving power and high performance. Why? We have multi-core processors, three processors together, five processors. So they have, separated to the certain level. So when that section busy to with something, they will move to the other section. It will become very fast to process the inquiry or the task that you order the computer to do it. Now it is high performance, and at the same time, the power saving processors means no more like before. Now computers they don't like power like before. You can find that computer becomes smaller and the energy is still longer. The battery is still longer to feed the computers. I still remember the first laptop that I have. It was 2 hours. Yes, and still longer, just 2 hours. Then the new computers, I bought it was very expensive. I bought it from here, from Malaysia, 2010 like that. Yes, 2010 when I used to do my PhD. The batteries was very big, 7 hours. Wow, you can work 7 hours. Now, after we accomplish with uh, Nutrid or hardware or contemporary hardware trends, now we are going to talk about software. But here, let me uh, stop here and I would like to ask something. Now, now, do you follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So, what I was talking about, IT, right? Let me. I would like to do. I would like to do one. I would like to do bowling. Okay, just let me give a bowling. Okay. Just a second. This I give you just 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes to answer 2 questions. Okay? I open polling. So you do this polling within 2 minutes. Everyone has to do his polling. One more minute. You have 1 minute more. Make sure to accomplish. Minute. Okay? Polling finished. Fast. We'll close now. Okay. Close. Well, okay. I share with you your result. And also, can you see the result? Can you see the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Aisha Malik. Who is Aisha Malik?
Yes, sir.
I- Why you don't start your bowling? I took picture for those who don't start.
I cannot submit.
Why? Now you can't submit. You have to check that. When you do a bowling, there is one place to do submission. You have to submit. What is the reason that you cannot submit? You ask for help if you couldn't. Your mic working? You send the text message. Okay? Just don't stay like that. Okay. Other one. Muhammad, Ayman, Alif. Which one? You. Muhammad, Hazik. I took picture for those who didn't participate. -1 for those who not participate. When I call you, you have to attend the class. Okay? Yes. Thank you. Yes. Oh, you will leave. Good answer. Where you have been? Yes,
Sorry,
you
sir.
have-
Cannot click.
Huh?
Cannot click your answer.
Cannot. But you cannot. Cannot click.
Yes.
Okay.
Me too, sir.
But I don't hear you. Yes. So I will send you to a WhatsApp those students who don't participate. Yes. Yes. And my all those who participate in progress but they cannot answer. You have to answer. You are in progress. You have to answer the question. Next time the polling will be closed. Yes, 2 questions, 2 minutes. You have to accomplish. You have to manage your time. Okay. Thank you. Now, let us go to the software. What is the software? What is the software? Now, what is the software? We have a new trend of software or major type of software, and we have a contemporary trend of a software. As we have contemporary hardware trends, we have contemporary software trends because the improvement in hardware, both sides, hardware and software, improvement from time to time. So, what is the hardware? What is the hardware? You see here? What is the software? We have hardware in the middle. When we have a device like a computer, like mobile, how we can operate that? We have to have operating system. Yes. If we don't have operating system, we cannot open our device. Your laptop need to have a window. Otherwise, cannot operate, cannot work, right? We put that system software. System software, it is the operating system. Or language translator, utility programs that should be included in your laptop to work. And this is come with Windows or system software. Now, what is application software? All of that is software, but primary software and secondary software, or system software and application software. Yeah, we have to distinguish between type of software. What is application software? Programming language, apps, software package, and services. We will go one by one. Now, operating services, operating system software, this one. Okay? You see the hardware? In the middle. In the outside, can you see the slides? No?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slides? Good.
Can
The
see.
one, good. Thank you. The one outside here, the user. You see the user? You cannot log into the hardware unless you have application software. Application software log into the system software and to the hardware. So the hardware and users cannot be connected together unless through system software and application software. We, as a user, we have to use application software that can be operated by system software to go to the hardware. So this is a process like that. So what is the system software? We have to distinguish between system or operating system that operate the hardware, that operate computer, or that application software. Let's go one by one. Software that control computer activities. What is that? It is a software operating like Office, like Windows, like Unix, like other operating systems. So it is a software that control computer system. GUIS, multi-touch, PC operating systems like Unix, Linux, Windows. Mobile operating system. So when we would like to talk about different type of devices and PCs operating system, we have this Windows, Unix, Linux. This is for PCs. These are all of them are operating systems. For mobile operating systems, we have Pro, Android, we have iOS. Okay? This one is to operate our smartphone or tablet. If you buy IBM, you have to have iPhone. Or you have Samsung or any kind of that, we have Android. That is the operating system. What is application software and desktop productivity tools? These are application test softwares. Like what? Programming language, C, C++, Visual Basic, Java, all of that programming language, but it is considered as a application or applications where programming language for businesses. So, what is that? When we would like to develop a website, we have to use application software. When we would like to develop something, so we are going to use which programming language? Programming language. If in Java, this one, it is, yes, we know it is independent objective oriented programming language. It is the famous one. If you would like to develop application, you are using application software. You develop that kind of uh, programming language to develop applications that we use to uh, to manage reports, to connect online, to have a program or application that connect or to accomplish your task, like new systems. These are all of them application software. What is the software packages and desktop production tools? Like we know it, all of us. Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word contains Word, spreadsheet, data management. This is one access or presentation. We call that application also. Is application software and desktop productivity tools. All of them considered as application system or application. Spreadsheet software, how it increase uh, very fast because we can manage that to manage financial parts. HTML and HTML5. You know, when we would like to develop a website, we have to use this kind of thing. Hyper markup language or hyper markup language file. What is that? So what is HTML? Not HTML. HTML. Hypertext markup language. This page, oh, I mean, let me- here. I'm trying to show you the source. Okay. Okay. So the page description language for specifying how elements are placed on the web page. You say in the web page how things are managed. Maybe I present in PowerPoint now, but how we place our things and details and information in the website, how we define them, what the content of website, what we have in every page, we manage by HTML. HTML5 is the new revolution of HTML. What they do, they enables multimedia embedded without third party or plugin like that. Previously, if we would like to open a video in a website, we have to install that. Now, you can open HTML5. So how we define it, how we define our website, we can do it by HTML. Web servers. Web servers. What is this? You should remember, hey, when you say multi-test, the web server, hey, the web server, what is it? The web server for a company, that server connect the company with the internet. So we are a client here. We go to internet. Why? Because we would like to go to the database here. How we can connect to that database? We have how we can connect to the company. We have to connect to the web server and then application servers that we have it. So two servers. Okay. Now, what is the web server? Web server is a software components that exchange information with one another using universal web communication standards and the language. Okay. XML. This one, XML or extensible markup language, use foundation for the web server. Surface-oriented architecture or SUA, surface-oriented architect, the collection of services used to build an organization software system. This one we call that service-oriented architect. All of them needed in a web server. What's this? This is kind of web service or how dollars rent a car use this web server. Web server here, a lot of things connected to the web server and then to the company server and legacy reservation server. But all of this should be and have to be connected through a web server. So software trends, we told you that we have contemporary trends in hardware, we have same thing, we have software trends. Open source software like a Unix or Apache server. Cloud-based software tool. SaaS. SaaS. Do you know that? What is a SaaS? Software as a service. Now we told you companies, small companies, they cannot buy system their own. Why? Because it costs them a lot. At the same time, those companies who develop software, they have their own systems they would like to sell to others. But at the same time, they would like to do maintenance, like they are their customers. They would like to do maintenance. So what they have to do? They install it through internet. Any maintenance they can go through internet. So that system is still with them, but that users or customer they log into the system through internet, through a portal. Okay, through internet. All of that is a new ads. Ads. Now all companies they have to have mobile ads. Because why? Because all people would like to use smartphone all the time. Their smartphone and the smart devices attached with them 24 hours. Even when you sleep and you put your device here, smartphone. When you wake up, you go to see, oh, what is happening in the social media. So you have to manage your time. Yes, you have to manage your time. Okay. Now, one of the most important parts we have to consider is capacity planning and scalability. When we have to manage our system or our hardware or our IT infrastructure, we have to consider two things. What is it? These two things that we have to ensure that our system or our IT infrastructure are capable. The other one is scalability. Scalability of our IT infrastructure. What is capacity planning? Mean you have to do predicting when my company hardware systems become saturated. They have to predict, do maintenance, and we do upgrading before anything happens. Okay, this is what is required. Okay, as responsible for that. Other one is ensuring computing power for current and future things. The power is very important. In managing capacity planning, I have to understand some factors. I have to understand to what extent the maximum number of users will use my IT, my servers. And also I have to understand what's the impact of current and future software for current IT. And I have to do from time to time performance measures. This is very important to ensure that I am do capacity planning. Why we do capacity planning? To avoid my system from breaking down. To avoid any problem, a problem will happen in the future. So I have to maintain my system from time to time. Scalability. What is the scalability? Also, it's very important to be done by companies who to understand that this system should be able to expand to serve large numbers. So sometimes companies they have a seasonal demand, means their demand in a certain time or events or season is high. Huge connectivity like UUM. Huge connectivity we have during add and drop or new registration. Our students more than 25,000 in 4 days they have to log in inside to do add and drop. So how we can manage our server? We have to keep in our mind. I mean, UMIT, they have to keep in our mind that we are going to face a problem if we will not manage to arrange for that purpose. It will be break down. So we have to make sure that certain number or expand or serving our system can serve a large number of clients at the same time without breaking down. Yes, a good question here. Total cost of ownership. Now companies do they can buy that systems? Before they buy that system, they have to ask themselves a big question. What is the total cost of ownership? They have to depend on that or TCO model. What is it? They have to do analysis to know the direct cost, indirect cost, or hidden cost. What are these? What is TCO model? This TCO model do analyzing direct and indirect cost for what? To determine the actual cost of owning a specific technology. Okay. Direct cost. What is the direct cost? The money they pay for hardware, for software, all purchasing cost. This is we know it is a direct cost. But before they buy a system, they have to think all this cost. Because the cost is not just a direct cost. There is also indirect cost. What are these? Ongoing administration costs. You need some people who are specialists to run that system. And upgradings from time to time and to do maintenance. This is extra cost. Number three is a hidden cost. What is that? Support staff and downtime. What will happen if you have a downtime? Downtime does mean every single task, every department and unit in your company will stop if the system breaks down. All of these costs we have to evaluate them, and we have to do TCO model and to do analysis. So TCO can be reduced through what? Increased centralization and standardization of hardware and software choices. How we can do, and companies sometimes they don't buy hardware because they found that the direct cost and hidden costs are high. What they have to do? They use technology service providers from outside. Who and how? There is a vendor who can sell and provide that system, like cloud computing. Cloud computing is a one of that. So outsourcing. What we mean by outsourcing, we use external provider to run computer centers and networks. Even that you have sometimes infrastructure, you ask somebody to manage it. Web hosting service, offshore software outsourcing. Web hosting services that mean you go to them to host your website. So they can manage and make sure that 100% your website on. Surface level agreement. Yes, when we have this kind of things, outsourcing, we have to state that in our agreement. Yes, surface level agreement. To what extent that we have to manage or to have a contact with vendors or outsourcing provider or technology service provider using cloud services. As we say, cloud services are one of things. So appealing to businesses with a small IT budget. Yes, one could be held to companies, startup companies with smaller IT budget. Pricing is per hour. Yes, per use. Small company, they use from 8 morning until 5 p.m. So how many? 8 hours? Depends on hours. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, like that. Okay? Or maybe to 6, 10 hours. Switching cost. Switching cost also here become less. Why? If you don't like this, you can do switching cost. Why switching cost? Because you don't spend millions. Yes, you don't spend millions of US dollar to buy IT. So if you don't like the service with the company, you can subscribe to other company. Now, managing mobile platform. Mobile platform. Mobile devices provide productivity gains. Yes, why? Because they will increase productivity. Why? Expenses of equipment increase with devices. Network configuration. This is neat. Software, device security is very important for using the device. Stolen or compromised devices. This is a disadvantage. When you have your smartphone and you have application and your application is the username and the password and suddenly stolen or you missed or you don't found, especially if you are CEO. Wow, it's terrible. So those computers or devices, mobile devices, tablet or mobile or notebook that connected to the online should be looked out. Yes, don't safe. Yes, this kind of thing. Stolen or compromised devices, mobile devices management software should be managed in a better way. Managing software localization for global business. Yes, when you buy software, you have to know that the interface should be suit your workers. Yes, and shouldn't be complex. No complex software interface. And for sure, you have to consider that when you buy any software or you develop software to sell to others, there is a differences in local culture, even business culture. Consider this. And sometimes, and differences in the business processes also exist. These factors added to TCO. So when we like to buy or to own, the IT infrastructure, we have to think about TCO model uh, or these kind of factors. So these are the most things that we have to consider. We finish here, and now we are going to move to ask questions and to do a polling. So any question now? If you have any question, as usual, you have to send it to chat box or you can talk with me direct using your mic. And also, you can send here in the chat box. Okay? Hello? Hello? Everyone, open your camera. Yes, everyone, open your camera.
Okay, wait.
I said everyone. I said everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How are you, everyone? Good. Hi to everyone. Hi to your families there. Yes. Now, could you please? Okay, wait for me. Okay. Now, I would like to ask you. I will write my question in WhatsApp group. Now, I would like to know why others they don't open the camera. You have to open, all of you. You open your camera. Sir, I want to scan attendance. Sir, I want to open your camera. Everyone. It's like this. Like that. Good, good, good. Why you don't open your camera? Uh, no problem. I already took the picture for my students who open camera. Huh? Yes. Good. Good, good, good. Now, I would like to say thank you. And other thing, I want you to discuss, to spend 5 minutes. You have a group assignment, right? Please open your WhatsApp group and discuss 5 minutes with your group members, group assignment. What we have to do in a group assignment, each one of you already choose a topic, okay? To each group, they are going to accomplish one task, right? So, it's like that. You have to make that topic clear. So anyone would like to read and to understand what is the topic can read your assignment. We would like you to make it as a chapter. Chapter. So any chapter you take an academic way to understand what is that title mean. So we would like to make it as a chapter, clear understanding. So we would like to see that what is this topic now, what is that technology trends now in industrial revolution 4.0. We have to relate new practices, benefit. What is it? Definition, benefit, challenges. Start by issues. Issues. Definitions, issues, challenges, advantages, and what is happening in Malaysia. What happening outside and what is happening in Malaysia. Because we would like you to understand what is the progress in new trend of ICT. Now, is it clear? Okay. Before we finish now, what happened? Where is the chat? Okay. Now, I would like to share with you attendance. Now is group, I would like to share group B first. Group B. You see, group B. Hello, group B. You see, we have 10 students in good scan.
Sir, my name Muhammad Shazrul Hakimi. Number 1.
Can you scan? No.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, don't worry. Wait. Yes. Very fast. Okay. Good. Okay, I will look out. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. Can you scan by yourself? Group B. Please scan now.
Yes, Doctor. Boleh, boleh.
Boleh ya? Scan?
Yes, sir. We try.
Boleh, boleh.
Can you see now?
No,
Yes.
no. Okay. Baru. Baru boleh tengok.
Can you scan?
Sir,
Yes, Husna.
sir, can you add me manually?
You are group what?
Group B.
Yes, let them finish. Group A, please bear with me. Okay, have you finished group B to scan? How? Group B. What is your name? Group B. Those group B who don't see anything.
Me,
Hello, sir.
Musa Halidan.
Number what?
Number 5.
Who else? Oops. Who else? Who else? Afwan already asked me to add